I want to talk about one last thing with decimals, because we're going to use this when we discuss ratio and proportion and percents. Multiplication and division by powers of 10. It's an easy multiplication and division. When I multiply by a power of 10, I move the decimal the number of zeros. The only thing that can be confusing is which direction. Just think multiplication makes things bigger. So if I have 2 and 7/10, I want to make it bigger. I would move it to the right to make it 27. So to multiply, I move the decimal, the number of zeros, to the right. So 2.7 times 10, I move it 1, I get 27. If I want to multiply 2.7 by 100, I got to move it 2. So I move it 1, but I have to move it 2, so I have to add a 0. So I get 1, 2, I get 270. If I have 2.7 times 1,000, I got to move the decimal. I don't add 3 zeros like in whole numbers. In decimals, I move the point the number of zeros. So I got to go 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to get 2,700, which is 1, 2, 3. If I want 1478.78 times 10,000, I have to move the decimal 4 places to the right. So I go 1, 2, and I'm going to have to add 2 zeros. If I have this decimal and I want to multiply by 100, I want to move the decimal 2 places to the right. So I get 0.64. I could also write it in exponential form. In other words, I have to know that an exponent tells me how many zeros I have. So 25 times 10 squared is the same as 25 times a 1 with 2 zeros, which is 100. And every whole number has a decimal point at the end. I move it 2, I get 2,500. If I have 3.5 times 10 to the third power, it means I have 3.5, 10 to the third is a 1 with 3 zeros. I move my decimal 3 places to the right. 1, 2, 3. It'd be 3,500. Division is very similar. We move our decimal 2 places, well, not 2 places, the number of zeros. So what happens is I have to know if I move it to the right or to the left. You just have to remember if I move it to the right, that would be multiplication, it makes it bigger. Division makes things smaller. So I have to move to the left the number of zeros. So I move this 1, my answer would be 0.27 or 27 hundredths. I divide 2.7 by 100, I have to move it 2. So I have to add 2 zeros. It was here. So I go 1, 2. So I could put 0.027. I divide by 10, I move it 1 to the left, I'm going to get 75. Divide by 1,000. So I have 273. Here's my decimal point. I got to move it 3. So it's 1, 2, 3. I divide by 100. I have 5, 4, 6, 3. I have to know that every whole number has a decimal point at the end. So I move it 2. So it's got to be 54.63. Same thing, 62.5 divided by, this means 100, a 1 with 2 zeros. I have to make it 2 places to the left. It's 0.625. Last one, 10 to the third power is 3.1 divided by 1,000. So I move it 1. I have my 31 here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's 0.00. I'll write it again so you can see it. 0.0031. That's it.